Welcome to the DL Gaming Podcast, adding games both new and old to your backlog, one slightly inappropriate episode at a time. My name is Christian, and I'm spinning so fast, the gravity is actually coming out my face. It is on the opposite side of me. Joining me today is Bobby.
And I can finally play Steam games on the toilet now.
Well, and Taylor.
I'm lusty for an actually good horror game.
Wow. The Argonian Maid comes to mind. Okay, this week we're going to be talking about Plants vs. Zombies Replanted, Lust from Beyond, and IXION yet again. But first, Bobby, what's new? Tell me about this toilet. I feel like we're going to dive into the toilet right away for some reason.
Dive rod. I was at Home Depot. This is not what I was going to mention, but let me start off with something completely unrelated except the toilets. I was at Home Depot the other day and I was looking at all the LED strip lighting, and they have a LED toilet light that lights up your bowl when it senses motion. So you can pee into it accurately in the middle of the night, I think. I don't know, but that exists. Anyway, I got a Steam Deck.
You got a Steam Deck.
I got a Steam Deck. It's technically my girlfriend's.
Yep.
Yeah. It's technically my girlfriend's because I got it for her birthday and she was very excited about it. So I'm happy
birthday,
about
girlfriend.
That.
Yeah.
We loaded up some games on it. Stardew Valley and the Slime Rancher games. And I kind of poked around the whole thing a little bit just to see this is the first time I've ever been hands-on with a Steam Deck. I've never even looked at somebody else's Steam Deck and really played around with it. So this was my first experience with it. Yeah. And I really like how they just straight up tell you the compatibility of the game with the Steam Deck. And it'll have a little icon indicating how compatible it is. And then if you click into it, it'll give you the details of it as well. Slime Rancher 1, not fully compatible. Slime Rancher 2, yes. And what's also cool, people warn me that the battery life on these is not going to be great. And it also depends on what game you're going to play. Yeah. So like Slime Rancher 2, you can get like 2.5 hours of gameplay on a full battery of that, which is shocking. But of course, Stardew Valley, you're going to get much more. What I'm trying to figure out now is that since I bought this Steam Deck, I now have 1 million points in the Steam Point Shop. And you can buy keyboard graphical skins, changes, skins, and then startup videos for this. But I don't know if they transfer between accounts. You can't gift people. Not even the startup video.
Not even the startup video. So what we did, I bought the Steam Deck on my account, and I got all the points. But Rianne really wanted to customize her deck. She's the one that uses the deck way more than me. And we're a 2-deck household, right? So I have like the cool skins, and then she's like, I need to buy something on Steam so I can afford like the translucent keyboard, or not translucent, but like the rainbow skin and the awesome Hades startup video, because that's one of her favorite games. But yeah, not transferable, unfortunately. You can't even, in the past, you could send Steam inventory items to people, but not anymore, which kind of sucks.
Yeah. And I get it. They're trying to avoid like scams and, people reselling these and creating a market for it, like a cash market for it. But
how big could a cash market for Steam Deck startup videos be?
Yeah.
Well, if you think about it, I mean, how much do those things cost? Like 5,000 points for a startup video? So that's
something like that.
You got to spend what, $5 to get that? How does that? I don't know what it is, but yeah, I mean, it's like a $5 value technically. And if you've got a bunch of Steam points like I do now, you could just you'd sell them at kind of a reduced cost. You could, it turned into like the TF2 marketplace real quick.
Maybe they could, come out with something where if you're in a family, Steam family, then they could be shared.
Yes. Families should. I agree, Taylor. Yes. Yeah. Hey, if anyone at Valve is listening, put them always on family modes, okay? Our points are family points.
Family points.
Family points. Yeah.
All right. So yeah, that's exciting. What's new with you guys?
Well, I guess not totally new for me, but something new I discovered is that Steam has implemented a personal gaming calendar for you in-app, right? And this is generated from recently released and upcoming games based on your wish lists, your friends' wish lists, and your playtime. So it's kind of half algorithmically generated. I think it's like a visual discovery queue, basically. So you go into this calendar mode and you're like, I don't know what to play. What am I going to play in a couple weeks from now? Like I have holidays, and you can see what's coming out a couple weeks from now that sort of aligns with either games you played or games that are actually on your wish list. Now, as you guys might know, I have I have this terrible burden on my Steam account, which is around 313 wish lists. I think I'm at now, which is just so my calendar is essentially unusable, I would say. Because it's just every game I want to play, even a little bit, I put on my wish list. That's how I use that function. But if you are a little bit more curated with the games on there, I think they can really start to stand out. And if you hover over a game, you can see if this is a game you've wishlisted or if this is a game a friend has wishlisted or a friend has played. So you're like, oh, so-and-so has wishlisted this game a couple weeks from now. Maybe we can play together. Anyways, I think this is a great feature. And in the Steam news post about it, they're saying they're looking for feedback. And I think Valve actually does listen to the feedback. So if you find you're using this, take time and answer their small questionnaire. Bobby, you'll be pleased to know it isn't 50 questions long. So it's nice and concise.
Listening to feedback, listen to our points complaints.
Yeah. Yeah. We're good on the calendar, Valve. Family points. You need to focus on what's important. Okay. All right, Taylor.
Could you just give us all an idea of how to access this calendar? Because I haven't seen it yet.
I think if you go to store and you scroll down, there is a calendar button on the sidebar on the top left, right around where the discovery queue is.
Sounds great.
Yep.
Well, for me, this week has not been super gaming related. I've been hard on the job hunt.
Nice.
So playing that economic game, I suppose.
A real life economic simulator.
Yeah. But I did get the chance just yesterday to play some Commander, which I hadn't done in a while. So that was fun. Really, stands out the pre-con decks versus custom-made decks, like the power level differences. Mm-hmm. But I do think that their pre-cons have gotten better than they used to be. So that's encouraging. A couple weeks ago, I mentioned, too, that a friend of mine was having a birthday on Halloween. Her birthday's on Halloween.
The board game night.
We're planning nerdy board game night. Well, yes. This has now morphed into going to our local Meow Wolf for their holiday event.
What's a Meow Wolf?
Meow Wolf is like
oh boy.
this art installation.
Okay.
They have one in Las Vegas, and then there's a couple others around the country. And they like the one in Vegas is like a supermarket, but everything's strange and weird. And then the one here in Dallas is based on like a house, and there's a storyline you can follow along. And solve a mystery kind of, but the main attraction is like going into these big rooms and areas that have really cool art.
Okay.
So it's like a modern
interactive gallery or something.
Yeah, you can touch all the stuff, and so they're trying to make art more accessible and fun than going to an art museum. And
right.
So I've been to this Meow Wolf twice. I actually was there last month with my sister when she was visiting. So I have like zero interest in going back for this birthday party. So that was sad.
That is sad. So you never got to play any of the nerdy board games we talked about?
Yeah, I'm lobbying to have a return to nerdy board game night, and then maybe we can do that earlier in the day, and then the ones who want to go the Meow Wolf thing can go after.
Yeah. I cancel all Meow Wolves. I don't like it. We don't have them here. I don't know what they are. Get rid of them. I'm team anti.
They're cool, but and the last thing I want to do is go to this, like be in a crowded and like their event. I'm sure is going to be super crowded, and when you're in this space, that there's no clear exits.
Okay.
And I just know my anxiety will be through the roof.
Right. Because it's like an immersive house that's supposed to like.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And like you can leave the house and go into like another world.
Right.
So yeah. not for me is what I'm saying. And
okay.
The other thing that's new with me is it's fantasy football season, which I love. And I'm going to go ahead and say fantasy football is a game to any of you guys listening. It's a game. And I don't even care about the football of it all. I like the game part of
The
picking
fantasy
players and
Yeah.
doing the fantasy part. But unfortunately, my team is kind of not doing so hot.
Dang. Can anyone see where your team is? It like a publicly accessible page?
Yes.
Can they critique your picks? Okay. Maybe
Yep.
Taylor will put his fantasy, and you can, if you also play, you can critique his moves. I don't
There
know.
we go. Yeah, I'll put a post up on the Discord of my fantasy team so everyone can tell me how terribly I picked.
Wonderful. What did we actually play this week? Bobby, you're starting us off with, I feel like this comes up every year, this game, for some reason. Or this series of
Really?
games. Sorry, this series of games.
Okay. I'm going to be talking about Plants vs. Zombies Replanted. This is the remastered version of the original Plants vs. Zombies game that was just recently released. Unbeknownst to me, like I just kind of saw it there and was like, wow, that just came out? Okay, and I'll check it out. It's an HD remaster of the original lane-based tower defense game. Plants vs. Zombies is one of those games that transcends gaming, right? Like non-gamers played this game 15 years ago. You know, everybody knows Plants vs. Zombies.
Yeah.
So needless to say, there's probably high expectations, and this remaster does not meet those expectations. The reviews are very poor, and there's a lot of very valid points in the complaints and the reviews of this game. So they upscaled the graphics. It's in 4K, but it's not widescreen. They just put vertical borders on it. So I'm kind of like, all right, whatever. I mean, they do the same with a lot of remasters. They did the same with the Bubsy game. So, I mean, that's not a deal breaker.
But that's Bubsy, beloved Bubsy.
Yeah.
He can get away with it.
We made it like 2 weeks without bringing up Bubsy.
No, dude. That might as well be this fucking podcast mascot at this point. How do we get licensed to use Bubsy and all
what could
DLG
possibly
material?
go wrong?
Yeah.
But, you know, aside from that, a lot of people are accusing it of using AI for upscaling, like using generative AI to upscale the resolution, which I'm like, I don't give a shit, dude. Like, why? I don't know. People are just like, AI bad. And like, I get it, you know.
And for image upscaling, algorithmic image upscaling is not new to AI. That's been a thing for a long time.
Yeah, I think people just are more like robots are taking our jobs or something. I think there's some deeper issues there, but I don't care if that was used or not. I don't think it's been proven that that's been used. They haven't said that it's been used, but you know, like I think in a case like this where they're just using it to upscale it, yeah, that seems rather harmless to me.
Maybe it's the perception of the effort put into. They're like, oh, you just put black bars on the bottom. Oh, it's AI upscaled. And sorry, I'm just going to completely derail what you were talking about. This is the worst Steam page I have ever seen, bro. It's 2 paragraphs. Like they really didn't even try. They're like, it is what it is. Plants vs. Zombies, bro. Like,
using AI to upscale this is the least of this game's problems.
Right.
There are so many other issues with this game. Like the top review, at least that comes up for me. The top negative review for this game says like they put all their money into the trailer, which, you know, is kind of like a snarky, cynical thing to say, but it feels very true because you look at the trailer and it looks like, it says at the bottom, not actual gameplay footage. You know, it's like this cute little animation of the game and the characters, like it's got Crazy Dave and the plants, and they're kind of excited that the game's coming back. They're watching it on TV. And that is literally the best part about this game, and possibly the name Replanted. That's kind of clever, but really that's where it stops. Like everything else really does feel like they put very little effort into this. There are a lot of technical issues with the game. It freezes every time I try to exit out of it. There's weird little animation issues. Things are too small. Images are off centered, like just weird stuff like that, where it's just like, how did this get, like, why wasn't this fixed before like an official release? The big thing that everybody's complaining about is the dynamic audio. So that's when the music changes depending on what's happening in the game. And that doesn't exist in this. It existed in the old version, but not in this one. The developers have responded and said they're going to add it in a future update. But the worst part about all this is it's $20, which is 4 times the cost of the Game of the Year edition. And the Game of the Year edition is honestly a better experience at this point. So maybe this remaster will get there eventually, but as it stands right now, like, you're much better off just playing the original
and this
game.
remaster is the official release. This is not an early access, right?
Yeah, I think this is 1.0. They didn't bother with early access here. I don't know if EA ever really does early access, not to my knowledge, but I could be wrong. But you do get some new stuff in here. So there's new game modes, like challenges and a hardcore mode. They added multiplayer, which sounds exciting, like a co-op and a versus mode. But according to one of the reviews I read, the co-op requires at least one person to play with a controller, and the versus mode requires both people to play with a controller. I haven't had a chance to play that myself, but if that's true, that's unfortunate. And the fact that it's only local multiplayer, I mean, maybe it can work with Steam Remote Play, I'm not sure, but it feels like that should have just been like online multiplayer. And of course, any remaster is going to come with the art and concept library. And then they also added in some bonus levels. So in the original Plant vs. Zombies game, there were unused mini games. And I guess there was a way to dig this out of the original game, but they added them back into this one and kind of scattered them throughout the campaign. So it does add some new stuff. But it's just, there's so many other problems with this game.
You know, like it feels like it could be a slam dunk, dude, with the extra features. It feels like this could have been so beloved, you know?
But instead it seems like the lowest effort, cash grabby nonsense. At least
I don't think they really put a lot of effort into it. Maybe it'll get there in the future. We'll see. But yeah,
Can it really even be an HD remaster if it's still 4.3?
Well, it does look better. It does look better than the original one, even if it is in 4:3. And you know, how important is the aspect ratio anyway? It's kind of weird that like we made that jump 4:3 to 16:9, and it's like, I don't know, all our monitors are widescreen now, so it makes sense, but it's just, it really lets you recognize when a game is like old, when it doesn't have that 16:9 support.
Yeah.
But, you know, just playing Plants vs. Zombies again was a very interesting experience because we've come a long way since then, right? Like Plants vs. Zombies introduced a lot of people to the tower defense concept or genre. And to play it again and kind of relive it and see how well it holds up now that we've come so far was a pretty interesting experience. I mean, it does, I'll be honest, like aside from the other issues, like the actual core gameplay of the game does feel a little dated. Like even if I were to go back and play the Game of the Year edition, I think I'd be like, there's better tower defense games out there, you know? Like even Bloons TD6. I mean, I might put it up against that, it sounds scandalous to speak poorly of Plants vs. Zombies, but you know, it was a game of its time. Mm-hmm. And I think we've kind of, I gotta say, we're kind of past that now.
It's disappointing to hear this, you know, especially for such a beloved, like, game that was like a pioneer, like you said, to just have a remaster come out with such poor execution.
They've tarnished the jewels at the Louvre for sure. This is a cultural touchstone. They were trusted with our most sacred treasures.
Yeah. This is not the first time we've been disappointed, right? Like when Plants vs. Zombies 2 came out, they drastically changed the style of the game. They dumped in a ton of microtransactions, and it was just like nobody played it and nobody liked it. Like that was a disaster as well.
The third-person shooter Plants vs. Zombies was fun. I forget what it was called.
I think that might be the one I'm thinking of. Garden Warfare.
Garden Warfare.
Yeah.
One of my little cousins had that, and we would play together, and it was a lot of fun. But yeah, it did have all the extra nonsense put in, but the core gameplay was actually pretty enjoyable.
Cool, sweet. On that, what's the core gameplay like from your game, Taylor?
Yeah. So this week, in between, taking a break from Disco Elysium, and I've just been pretty busy otherwise, I decided to try a game called Lust from Beyond.
Interesting.
I received this game for free some time ago, and I don't remember what the promotion was, but it was in my library, and it's spooky month. So I figure, why not try a spooky or horror game? And they list on their Steam page, their inspirations are H.R. Geiger and H.P. Lovecraft, and I enjoy that style of kind of horror artwork.
Okay.
So, it was interesting to me. I don't tend to enjoy many standard horror games. So this one looked like it had a twist, in terms of it's not just jump scares and, or like, Outlast or something like that. But at the end of the day, speaking gameplay wise, this game is more of a walking simulator than not. It does have puzzles, and it does have some combat sequences, although the combat is extremely clunky. Definitely not a highlight of the game.
Mm.
And I also always confuse this title with another one called Agony. If you guys have heard of that one.
Yeah.
That one I got for free on GOG. Agony I got for free on GOG a while back. And
that one's like body horror, right? Like the visceral, like gruesome.
I beat that game.
Okay.
I talked about it on the podcast many years ago when it came out, but yeah, I played that front to back. And yeah, they gave it away for free on GOG back when there was a lot of talk about, that whole credit card thing in the adult
with the credit
games
cards. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And then I found out that the devs of Agony also put out a sequel called Succubus.
I played the demo of that.
I don't know. It looked like a totally different genre. But back to this game, I didn't finish it. I ended up putting it down, and not because I didn't have time. It just is kind of boring, honestly.
Right. Didn't quite nail it.
All these walking sections. So you split your time between the real world and a realm called Lustga, which is, it's not hell, but it's some like alternate dimension.
Okay.
And the storyline is like you're like some normal guy, and you end up in this mansion full of a bunch of creepy weirdo cult people, and you're trying to figure out how to get back to town and find your fiance, kind of a thing.
Okay.
And the cult people are treating you like you are some kind of special person that they've been looking for.
Right.
So there's a lot of, in the first hour, the first hour of the game is walking around this mansion, talking to the various freaks and weirdos, in these like long drawn out conversations. And what does not help it is your walking speed is so slow that it just takes forever to get anywhere. So I'll go talk to one character, and they'll tell me something, but say, oh, well, you actually need to go talk to this other character to get more information who's on the other side of the mansion.
Oh, geez.
So I slow walk my way over there, and then that character, it turns out, to have gone to a different room in the mansion. So now I have to wander around and find them. And it was just it took an hour to accomplish what should have taken 15 minutes.
That's frustrating. Is this like a harem porn game, or is this more like a psychological
horror,
right?
And straight horror, I would say as well. There's no harem, that's for sure. And it's not like a porn game where there's like a bunch of these sex sequences. There is graphic sex displayed, but it's always gross. And then like the lust god dimension has a lot of like graphical representations of phalluses and vaginas and stuff. Like if you were to see the Steam page, there's screenshots, and I posted some screenshots in the spooky screenshot part of our Discord, and so it's pretty clear that the lust god dimension has to do with eroticism, and then there's another cult that's trying to take it over.
Got it. Okay.
So yeah, there is sex, but it's not gratuitous.
Got it.
I would say it's supposed to serve the plot, but the violence and the gore is often felt gratuitous,
right?
Or like it was just put in there for shock value, instead of a deeper meaning.
Got it.
There's sections where you walk into this like theater in the town. You eventually get to the town, and the other bad cult is in charge of the town, and you go into the theater and you can see that they're like disemboweling someone on stage, and it's disgusting. It's just gross. It's disgusting watching in high fidelity someone get like skinned alive.
Totally.
There's no purpose for it.
I think I can understand why body horror is like a popular genre. Like the shock value and how it makes you feel is, I guess, like an interesting human reaction to things. But I don't like people are like, watch Antichrist. It's like I hated that fucking. I was like, this is horrible. Like I really don't like this movie.
That was hard to get through. All the Lars von Trier films are hard to get through.
Yeah, and I've never played Agony or any type of video game rendition of, I guess, that idea. Bobby, when you played through, were you like, yeah, I see what they're going for, and this is the game, and there's value in this, like artistically or expression, like.
I don't know if I'd call it artistic. I knew what I was getting into. The game was heavily marketed, saying like this is going to be very graphic. There was like sexual content in it, but not like real graphic sexual content, but like nudity. I think that might have been the game where the big controversy was like stabbing babies or something. And they're like little demon babies. So I don't know. People are going to fall on different sides of that. In the context of a video game that I purchased because I wanted that Hellraiser experience, I'm fine with it. And I kind of enjoyed that game too. So I don't know. This game kind of sounds interesting, but a lot of these like very graphic horror games do end up being just walking simulators. And sometimes it can be very cool, because in Agony, there were parts where they dropped you into a level in hell and you would have to like traverse this, but you would just look over the landscape, and it was pretty impressive. But it's like, that's not going to make the game, that's not going to keep me playing for like till the end of this game. Like there's got to be more. So usually they try to incorporate some sort of puzzles into it, and they're typically like pretty light so it doesn't block you from getting to it. But at the end of the day, a lot of these just end up being walking simulators, and I don't really have time for those.
Had puzzles as well, and that was another one of my complaints. The puzzles often were like, so you can pick up items to inspect them, and rotate them in 3D, and there's letters and all that kind of stuff. And so often I would pick up an item to look at it, because you can't pick up everything. It's not like Skyrim where you can pick up literally any object. So any object that had the interact button, I picked it up to look at it. And it felt like half the time I'd pick up a letter that would tell me the answer to a puzzle before I even got to the puzzle.
Oh, just poor puzzle design or poor execution of the idea of the puzzle. Yeah,
exactly. So not even the puzzles themselves were particularly interesting or intellectually rigorous or even really had much to do with the themes of the game. Like, I would be much more interested in this type of game with the body horror and the and having shock value if it was in service of the themes.
Right.
If there was thought put behind it, rather than just like Bobby's example, like, oh, we're stabbing babies to make controversy. If they had gone a different direction with this, like, I could see this game being a considerably better experience with some minor tweaks to the gameplay and some of the story beats. Number one, let your character walk at a reasonable speed, like not an amble. And then like figure out a way to make these shock value body horror moments tie in to the game or to the story. So I don't know. I wouldn't recommend Lust from Beyond, even if you get it for free. The artwork of the world design, especially in Leska, was beautiful. Like, they obviously put a lot of effort into making it look like super otherworldly and gross, and the H.R. Geiger inspiration was clearly there. I enjoyed getting to look at some of these environments, but the game needs more than pretty environments to catch my interest.
Okay. Well, it's good to know that you like these type of games, Taylor, and I guess Bobby too. Like, I don't know, if you're listening and you also like these type of games, it feels pretty like a niche experience. And if you've had a good experience playing something like this, then throw it in our Discord on the radar.
Yeah.
Yeah. Especially during
I'd love
spooky
some
month.
recommendations that are actually good. Because it feels like so many of this niche end up being really poorly executed. And maybe it's because there's not a lot of funding for this niche or genre, but I'd love to actually get one of these kind of games that is more enjoyable. So yeah. If you got recommendations, definitely throw them our way.
Cool. Sweet. Last week I talked about IXION, and this week, guess what? Back for round 2. So IXION, if you didn't catch last week's episode, is an unrelenting city building odyssey across the stars. It's kind of like a Choices Matter Frostpunk, but futuristic sci-fi setting where the Earth and our solar system, there's been a giant war and it's uninhabitable, and the last remnants of humanity are aboard this colony ship that spins for gravity. Okay, the big spinny orb ships, or half cylinders, and the gameplay involves you unlocking parts of the cylinder as you expand your city within them. And every part of the cylinder you unlock comes with some new challenges or considerations for you. So
does the cylinder already exist, and when you unlock a section, it just opens it up to you? Or
yes.
Does it add on to what's already there?
No, you're kind of stuck with what you have, and this game does a really good job of making you feel like you're in a closed system, like whatever exists on the ship, and then whatever you can sort of scavenge around the solar system. Obviously, that helps you, but you have limited amount of supplies, and just you're making do with the space you have. And sometimes it's cramped and uncomfortable, and it looks ugly, and that's kind of part of the gameplay. Like some of the buildings themselves are awkwardly shaped, and so they're difficult to fit in, like just physically.
so you're space limited, does that lead also to like needing to make choices between like, okay, I can have this building or I can have that building, but I can't have both?
Exactly. And the different areas of the ship that you eventually start to unlock, you kind of like, okay, maybe this will be like my food level. Like maybe I'll focus on all the farming stuff here because logistically everything's close to each other. And then you're like, oh shit, should I build a mushroom wall or should I build some greenhouses for different types of food? And those are, the trade-off decisions you will make. And like the mushroom wall is an external structure or a partially external structure. So it needs to be on the wall of the sphere. And it takes up a huge amount of space to grow these mushrooms. And it uses recycled waste from a lot of your industrial activity. And so that comes from another area of the ship. And so you need storage to bring that into this. Anyways, it's lots of trade-off decisions. And I think the trade-off decisions I made, spoiler alert, cost me to die. So before I get into that, just a small correction. This game is not overwhelmingly positive. I swear it was, but I was wrong. It's sitting at 81%, which is quite different from like a 95 or a 96. So I think I was hyping it up in my mind and I got the percentages wrong. So apologies for that for last week. I got to Act 2 of this game, and when you do that, you are jumping to another solar system because you realize that our solar system, the one that Earth and Saturn is in, is been destroyed for this interstellar war, and there's all these dangerous sort of zones, and you and your crew find that there's not a lot of harvestable stuff, but you do find that humanity has gone to a nearby solar system. And so you hope there's survivors there, or there's just more material that you'll be able to use on your inter-solar system voyage to hopefully a new home for your people. You want to get off this ship. So I jumped to this other solar system, which ripped apart my hull, just like the first time I had done it. I was like, oh shit, this again. I've seen this before. Except this solar system has these huge cosmic weather events that my colony ship has to sort of dodge. And it's very expensive to dodge, to move. It's expensive to engage the systems of my massive colony ship. It puts strain on the hull and it uses up a lot of power, which takes away from other systems that need it. Like to grow food on the ship is a huge power drain, right? So I can't have my food growing and my engines running at the same time, except that cosmic storm is coming and I need to move or else my hull is getting pelted and I'm likely going to die. So Act 2 was really difficult. A lot of people died. Sorry, everyone who died on my ship. I woke you up from your cryopod just for you to be exploded in space. And especially my scientists. My scientists were getting really unlucky. They're the people that are going out amongst the solar system and trying to find clues about what happened, why we got flung so far in the future, and how we can use the materials to survive. And there's like these dialogue options. And in a lot of games, a lot of these types of games, it'll be very clear in the UI. It'll be like, 90% chance for a positive outcome, 10% chance for negative. Or it'll be like, if you choose this option, you have a chance to get this, this, and this sort of loot. And if you choose this option, you get this, this, and this. None of that is here. You are just presented with like a narrative situation and 3 or 4 options about what your scientists can do. And then you just have to sort of extrapolate what the likely outcome might be. And my likely outcomes were not so good. Lots of scientists died, lots of ships exploded, very expensive to replace. And my crew, the morale system in-game is sort of explained by everyone on the ship really looks forward to these scientists and holds them in high regard. These are like the best of the best, the explorers of the ship, the people who are willing to go out in the solar system and put their lives on the line. And so whenever these people die, morale is hugely affected. It's like, oh no, the best of us are kind of getting obliterated and run down out there. And that kept happening. So on my ship, big protests about my leadership style. Choose better dialogue options, I guess they were saying. Where our best and brightest don't keep dying. That caused work stoppages, along with me having to engage the engines. Not enough food to go around caused bigger morale loss. Racing against the clock to solve all these issues. My hull received a critical break in its integrity. I had to put a lot of power and effort to repair that. And I died. I lost the game. there's no alternate save point because I didn't make one, I guess because I'm a fool. I'm not used to having to do that in a city builder. And my game is like, I have to restart this game, and I have to restart a 10-hour sort of voyage to I could reload. There's autosave points and I could reload them, but I sort of started to realize that I was on a trajectory because of past decisions that was going to be very hard for me to change. And there's no clear fork in the road in my mind where I could go back and be like, okay, if I built the mushroom wall instead of the farming fields, I probably could have survived this other thing. There's a bunch of small decisions that are hard to trace. And so
it's like your retrospect.
Yeah.
You realize like, okay, no, I was already circling the drain.
I was circling the drain, and I made some planning decisions that were maybe poor because I didn't understand how they would affect my later game when I unlocked future buildings and future logistics and future things to worry about, like these storm systems. Like now that I know about the storm systems, I could build up a huge amount of battery capacity in Act 1 when I have a lot of resources, right? But I never knew about that, and I don't think I'm supposed to know about that because sort of the feel of the game is you're on the ropes, which I think is good game design, but also intensely frustrating when you lose. I've never lost. When the animation plays and my ship is breaking apart, I literally sat there and was like, what? Like this doesn't happen to me. And this hasn't happened to me in a long time. And I was talking to Nick. He asked me, hey, have you played Manor Lords? Like they've added a lot of new stuff to the game. And he was telling me he felt like that game was like a 10-hour roguelike, like kind of similar to this, where you make a lot of wrong decisions that you don't necessarily know are wrong. And by hour 10, you're like, I am fucked and there's no going back. And there's no easy point to load where it's difficult to pinpoint the exact moment where things might have gone wrong. Right. And so the time sink versus the die factor. Sorry, Bobby, what were you going to say?
Well, I don't know if I've played any games exactly like this, but it sounds similar to games that I have played. And there's always like a practice round that I've got to get through. And usually it's a couple of hours and I do my best, but I don't know the game. And then I learn a bunch of stuff. I die and it feels like that time is wasted. But then you go back on that second playthrough and you take all that information that you learned in the first one and you do 10 times better because of it. It seems, I mean, it's unfortunate that you made it like 10 hours into the game or thereabout. But I mean, if you were to start a second playthrough, it would probably be tremendously different, right?
Yeah. But sort of what pulls me to this game is the feeling, is the difficulty, I guess, is the feeling on the ropes. And now that I know, it just feels like I'm kind of cheating in a way, right? Like I know about the cosmic storms. I don't know what's going to happen in Act 3. I assume they're going to introduce some other sort of huge mechanic that I have to contend with. So maybe that will still be interesting, and maybe I should go back, build up the battery capacity. And then in Act 3, there's a new challenge and that'll be fun in and of itself.
And then you have to do it all over again.
Yeah.
Well,
and that's why this game's an 81 and not a 95.
Yeah, exactly.
Are some of these like choices that pop up randomly determined? Or are they scripted? So could you be facing different choices on a second playthrough?
I guess I don't know for sure. It felt purposeful. It felt like every time I went to Saturn, I was going to get the outpost where they tried to grow this crystalline tree, this biotic entity that sort of took over their labs and punctured through people. That felt like that was always going to happen, which is kind of cool, that it's intentional narrative moments. So I don't think I'll be presented with other stories like that, but I will be able to choose differently, and maybe those outcomes will affect future story. It's difficult to understand exactly what choosing a different option might be, I guess, until I go back and see.
I do love your reaction of this has never happened.
I mean, when like you're playing through the campaign of They Are Billions and you might lose a couple missions, but you could always it's like a half an hour to an hour time sink, and you could always restart. And in the game, narratively, it's like, oh, you're sending out these expeditions and this expedition failed. Maybe the next expedition won't. But But because this is an intentional story and the mechanics, in my opinion, flow really well into the decisions that you have to make, it's, yeah, I don't know, it just feels a little cheaty to go back, and I don't think I will go back. Maybe not every game deserves you to beat it, I guess. I don't know. I'm stuck in Act 2.
I agree with that, actually. You're not supposed to be able to beat every game.
Maybe, yeah.
And I think that gets into even like the broader cultural conversation that a lot of people are having these days of like media being designed for everyone instead of a specific audience, or the lowest common denominator or whatever. Yeah. And there's been a general sentiment of like things are getting watered down. You certainly see that in the Star Wars fandom. But in video games, I do think that we need experiences that not everyone can win.
Yeah. And if I go back, I'm going to be presented with likely some of the same stories. So the novelty of that it'll feel like I'm speeding through something just to get to something else. And I think that's not a good use of my time.
If the time sink hadn't been 10 hours, like if it had been maybe 1 hour, would you feel differently about going back?
Maybe I would feel differently. But part of why I like this game is that it was kind of a slog. It just fits the setting of the game. You're on this long, the ship moves slow, things take slow to build. You're presented with a lot of time to think strategically about your next steps and how you're going to react to things that might happen. It's not like a quick pace, do, but that's how I would be playing it if I went back, likely. And so I had a great time with IXION. I don't regret that I did die. I guess I'm sad that I won't see what happens in Act 3, a little part of me. Maybe I'll look up a YouTube video and see what happens. But my actual experience with the game was epic. Like, I really liked it. Like, it's an overwhelmingly positive for me. So I guess that's my discussion point was time sink versus death in games. Do you guys have any similar sort of experiences? But I think we can sort of talk through that a little bit. Any final reactions from IXION before we move on?
You've sold me on it. I wasn't so sure about it before when you talked about it a couple weeks ago, but hearing this really has me interested. So
it's an interesting game for sure. Yep. Yeah, I think it's worth your time if you like these sorts of choices matter, strategy, colony builder, logistical.
I like the idea of being, like you said, being on the ropes and like feeling like everything's a struggle, a scrabble.
Yes.
To make it through. So that appeals.
I should probably mention there's 3 modes. There's a narrative mode, which they present as the easiest, and there is a normal or like intended mode, and then there's a hardcore or more difficult mode. And I chose the middle one. I mean, I usually choose the middle one. So maybe, if you're interested in a different sort of experience, you would choose the narrative one, or I can't imagine the hardcore one, dude. That seems so intense. That seems crazy. Okay, moving on. What do you want to play in general? Bobby, start us off.
So I found this game called Far, Far West just randomly on my feed, and I thought, wow, this looks interesting. Just right off the bat, the imagery and the description of it kind of caught my attention. Far, Far West is a co-op first-person shooter, 1 to 4 players, and you are robot cowboys in a sci-fi Western setting that go on missions to earn rewards. You level up your gear, you go on harder missions, the basic style, just like, oh my God, what's the game with the stratagems?
Helldivers 2.
Helldivers 2.
Oh.
Yeah. Like Helldivers 2, like Deep Rock Galactic, like so many of these other games. You go on these missions, you get resources, you spend those to get stronger, and then you go on harder missions, and the cycle continues. But the art style It's got, so first of all, you're these robot cowboys, but you use guns and magic, like you cast spells. So there's a lot going on here.
Cowboy magicians.
Cowboy magic. It sounds like that. Remember that tool that you had, Christian, where it randomly generated genres?
Yes. Yeah, that sounds like a mashup. Yeah, from there. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. There are a lot of themes mashed up in this. So I usually don't like when they do that, but I'm telling you, when I saw this game, it immediately reminded me of another game that I really liked and nobody remembers and not a lot of people played. It's called Full Mojo Rampage. It came out, 10 years ago. And it's actually a twin stick shooter where you play these little characters that, and it's all like voodoo themed. You get Lua masks and they give you different powers and you go through these procedurally generated levels. I really enjoyed it back in the day, but it didn't get a lot of momentum. Totally different kind of genre of game, but the visual style reminded me or was very similar to this Far Far West game. It's got like this kind of cartoonish look to it, but also this glowing, like the weapons have this glow to it, and it looks very, very Halloweenish, I guess. I don't know. It looks like something that would fit right in line with like this time of year. So I don't know. There's an open play test for this. You can just go to the Steam page and join it and start playing. I'm probably going to check that out next week if I have time, but I'm very curious about this game. I've got so many questions and the Steam page doesn't answer it. Like, are there roles, or is this just a Borderlands type co-op game where everybody just gets a bunch of guns and shoots at things? Can you get certain types of builds and kind of branch into one specific genre, or not genre, but like I guess role? But I don't know. I kind of feel like it's going to be more on the Borderlands side. And then whenever you have these types of games, the big question I always have is how long are the missions? Because in Helldivers 2, I feel like the missions are a little too long. People always want to stay and do like all the things because the missions not in that game are actually not so much about completing the mission, but getting the resources in the mission. The stuff that you collect that you can then unlock more gear.
Right. You can accomplish the major objectives pretty quickly, but if you want to accomplish all the side objectives, a match can really drag on, especially if you're dying a lot.
Every game I've joined in Helldivers 2, the people have always been like, even though you have your primary objective, the real primary objective is finding all those areas where you get those currencies that you can spend later. And it takes like 40 minutes just to like sweep a level for all that.
And Space Marine 2 is much better about that, in my opinion.
With a clear objective that everyone kind of understands from start to. And Deep Rock Galactic's secondary objectives often felt, and the game has changed a long time since I played, so Bobby, please correct me, but that they're like along the path of the main objective or not too far. Yeah.
Yeah, it's the secondary objectives in Deep Rock Galactic are mostly about keeping your eyes peeled for an extra resource that you need to grab. Yeah. In Deep Rock Galactic, I'd say those games like they could go pretty long too, but I'd say they're around a half an hour on average, depending on what difficulty you play and what you might run into in the level. So I'm kind of comfortable more, like half an hour is like the tops for me. Like I really don't want to spend that much longer in a mission, because it's hard to segment that. Like half an hour, I can like get a quick round in before I got to do something else. But I don't know. So Far Far West looks real interesting. Check out the Steam page, join the playtest if it looks good. Probably check it out this week.
Sweet.
Yeah, sounds really interesting. And you said it's a co-op game. Do you know how many players?
Up to 4.
Up to 4. All right. Well, if you're going to end up playing that playtest, let me know. I'd be down to play too.
Awesome.
Maybe we can get a crew game going and record it.
What do you got this week, Taylor?
This week, I have a game called Haste. The demo came out recently, I think as part of Next Fest. And this looks like a kind of Sonic-esque game, run fast game. You play as
I like that as a genre, by the way. This is a run fast game. I like that.
It's all about building your momentum and maintaining your momentum. What sets this game apart from other run fast type games is that you're running through procedurally generated worlds. So each run will be different because no level is the same.
Okay, cool.
As opposed to something like Sonic or other games I've played in this genre, where I feel like they more cater towards like speedrunner communities, where you figure out the best path and whatever shortcuts, etc. With it being procedurally generated, that really piques my interest. Like, and I just haven't played a game like this in quite a long time.
I was just thinking that in my head. I was like, when's the last time I played a fast run game?
Yeah. I don't know if that's the official genre terminology.
I think it might be. Yeah. Let's adopt
it. If it's not, let's have that be a DLG exclusive, exactly. We came up with the run fast genre, guys.
Yeah. Yeah. Like Vampire Survivor likes VSLs. No, it was VSLs. Yeah.
So it does appear, like, having browsed the Steam page, that, like I said, the goal is to maintain your momentum. It looks like you also have some other abilities to help with that, like having like a grappling hook rope thing to be able to swing over obstacles. So, or do dives, and there's a surfboard looking device that the character uses.
Cool.
So anyway, it looks fun. It looks like one of those kind of games that you can just kind of play for a little bit as a break and go fast. So check it out, guys.
It's fun to go fast. It is fun to go fast.
The demo's out, like I said, and it's still available. Unlike a lot of the demos that get taken off after Next Fest.
It's 92% positive, the full game on Steam as well. So people really like. Maybe it's this. Sorry, I'm just seeing the tags on Steam. By the way, we're not supposed to. This is so unprofessional of me. But fast paced is the genre of this type of fast paced. I think run fast is better.
Run fast is better, right?
Yeah.
It also says parkour. So.
Parkour. Yeah.
I mean, are you always running in these games? Are you ever in like a cart? Are you ever in like a wheelchair? Like, I don't know. I just feel like if we say run, that implies we're using our legs.
Go fast.
Go fast. There we go.
There we go.
A go fast game. Cool. Sweet.
So yeah, full game is out. But I'm going to go for the demo first.
Of course.
Just to see if it's worth the $13.
Nice. Guys, talking to Nick about 10-hour rogue like strategy games like Manor Lords and IXION, if you make wrong decisions in those ones, made me realize I haven't gone back to Manor Lords since the big update. I think this is on games I wanted to play like 3 or 4 weeks ago. I might have brought up Manor Lords, and I never actually took the plunge of diving back in. Manor Lords, of course, is the medieval game where details matter. The example that I've given multiple times is you need an actual fed and healthy ox to work at your lumber camp to move the felled lumber, the big tree trunks from the lumber from the forest into the lumber camp. And that ox has to be fed. And the trail that ox uses slowly over time becomes a dirt trail that then your people will later use to get from A to B quicker as a way to get around the forest and pick mushrooms or whatever else they're doing.
It turns into a road eventually.
Yeah, details, like they got the details so it's simulative. It's a
simulation.
Yes, yeah, a true medieval simulation from top-down strategy perspective. So cool. They've added new jobs since I played. They've added a completely modular-looking castle customizer. You can, are they called parapets, where the little jutting outs that the archers hide behind? You can change like the width and the size and how often those are on your battlements. So yeah, they're still paying attention to details in Manor Lords, it looks like, and adding some deeper systems that give the game some breadth. Of when it came out in early access, that was one of the maybe
so
critiques.
Many of these types of games don't do the details like that.
They don't,
or are not simulation based.
Yes,
a lot of city builder strategy games, I feel like, don't lean into the simulation.
No, a lot of things happen in the UI behind the scenes that are just sort of automatically assumed and done. And this game really slows all that down and in a satisfying way. So my hopes and dreams about Manor Lords, this time I go into it, I do not want to die. Do not die. So we'll see. We'll see if that happens. I'll
the
be
cosmic
excited.
storm from IXION is going to follow you.
Yeah, floating above my people are getting abducted from some sort of future forward colony ship that has fallen through time. Yeah, anyways. What is our community up to? First, shouting out our executive producer, Truthbringer. Thank you for supporting us. Listener questions and corrections, Bobby. What's going on?
All right. First one is from Soundwrecker. He says, man, went and checked out IXION, and it is from 2022 and is at 78% on Steam. I couldn't even find anyone in the reviews praising the story. Based on that, I'm hoping the no votes win.
I already talked about it, Soundwrecker. Get fucking wrecked. So
get wrecked.
Yeah, the recent reviews are at 78. Overall, all-time reviews are at 81%, which is what I was referencing earlier. But yeah, it recently was on sale for a couple bucks, so more people probably picking it up and giving their opinion. Yeah, I mean, the reviews, there are people in reviews praising the story, so maybe you just didn't find that. But I did
keep
say
scrolling.
Keep scrolling. Keep going. Yeah.
Get back to us when you've read every review.
Yeah.
Steam doesn't, Steam only shows you the reviews for your region too, and I don't know what. I'm guessing that's like North America, Europe. Like I thought it was
based on language. I assumed, but maybe,
I think you're right. Actually, I think it is. Based on
man,
language.
that's too bad. I don't like Australian reviews.
Yeah, I get all the Aussie reviews out of my Steam.
All right. Next one is from Peter Bowen, 4794. I definitely have to get back to listening. I miss chilling and listening to you guys. Keep winning.
Thanks, Peter Bowen.
What more people should, hey, guys, take Peter Bowen's lead. Sometimes we need our tires pumped. Leave us some good.
Yeah. And, we call it listener questions and corrections, but it can be positive comments too.
Yeah.
You don't have to have a question to reach out to us, is what I'm saying.
Yeah. Yes. What are we plugging this week, Taylor?
I want to replug what Amanda was talking about last week with the voting on your favorite horror game for Emilio and Amanda to play.
Yes.
And get their reactions. So we have this channel in our Discord. It's called Spooky. I think I'm gonna rename the channel today. But basically, get in there, post the horror games that you want to see Amanda and Emilio shit their pants playing, and that's about it.
Perfect. And the background on why they're famous scaredy poo-poo pee-poo pants people who don't like scary games and kind of don't even make it past the first room in Amnesia, I think is how Emilio has put it. So when you're putting forward your suggestions, go hard. Don't go easy on these guys.
Yeah, we want the scariest games that you know of. Not like Resident Evil's a creepy game, but like let's go a couple steps up.
Yeah. Let's do it. Okay, cool. My name is Christian. Joining us today was Bobby and Taylor. Tune in next week because Bobby is going to talk about Asterix and Obelix entirely in French. This podcast will cease being English. He's just going to do it in French. Bonjour, Asterix and Obelix. But he's not actually going to do it in French. Sorry if you're French speaking. And yeah, the joke isn't funny if you were actually looking forward to that. Taylor, what's playing us out this week?
Yeah, this week we have music from one of my favorite games of all time, Deus Ex. Track is called The Hive. Goodbye.